Everyone, I hope you're doing well and you're staying safe back at home, and make sure you spend quality time with your family, guys. And today we're going to cover a text in Offline Reading 1. And please turn to pages 131 till 133. There you will see unit number 6, reading text number 3. Okay? What do you need for this lesson? Get your books, please, Offline Reading 1, and please colorful pens and pencils so that you can highlight many keywords and etc. And of course, prepare your word chart, your vocabulary journals. Make sure you write the word, its definition, maybe draw a picture to make it more memorable for you. And of course, write down the synonyms or antonyms. And make sure you add a sample sentence to learn it better. All right? So, here is our target vocabulary list. This target vocabulary list will guide you. We're going to focus on only these vocabulary items. So, make sure you note them down and write them down into your vocabulary journals, and make sure you use your dictionaries. I prepared some tasks for you to do. Okay? I prepared, guys, 16 questions for you. This is the first question. I'm going to try to give you the instructions. I included in each question the paragraph. I underlined the the target vocabulary item. And I want you to choose the best alternatives. I gave you 4 alternatives. You are going to try to figure out its meaning, its definition, and in some questions you will also see the synonyms. You're going to try to find the synonym of the word given. Okay, it's so easy. There are 16 questions and I divided them into paragraphs just like here. And let's start with paragraph number 2. Okay, let's go. Paragraph number 2, question number 1. And paragraph number 3. Paragraph number 4. Paragraph number 6. Question number 16, and it's over. Okay, so now pause the video and do the vocabulary exercises. Make sure you use your dictionaries as well. We're going to look at the answers after you finish the exercises. Pause the video now. Okay, I'm sure you're ready for the answers. What I tried to do here is I just wanted you to see the keyword, the target vocabulary in context. Okay, and here is the definition of this word. It's the correct definition. The jazz, the music style jazz, originated in the US, was born in the US, was started in the US, and is now popular throughout the world. Okay, so I also included some items that can help you with memorizing this word, with learning this word. Origin as a noun and original as an adjective. So these can help you if you add them in your vocab journals. This can help you to learn these words in a meaningful way. And in questions, you will also see words in square brackets. These are actually the words that has this definition. Okay, so you can also find some other answers to these questions. It's okay. It's absolutely fine, but make sure you make the most of this video. Okay, Here you go. Question number 2. Yes, communicate. Guys, African slaves found a way of communication that was singing because they couldn't speak to each other while working. Okay? So communicate with somebody is the target vocabulary item. And they found a way of communication. Communication as a noun. You can communicate. Well, you can write down the adjective form as well. Communicative. Contact or get in touch can be synonyms of this verb communicate. All right. Labor. Surely it was, in this context, it was the work, because chill, relief, and rest, they have more or less the same meaning. They mean to relax, to chill, to have a rest. And of course, we have the word work. Usually, in this context, it's manual or physical work. You have to use your physical power to do this work. So labor, and it's exhausting, very tiring. Here in American English, that's how we write it, and in British English, that's how you write it, with you. All right? Worker or laborer, they have the same meaning too. All right, gather. Well, these people would get together, come together and sing, okay? And that means they got together to watch the Oscar-winning movie, for example. And gather something can mean something else, like gather some stones. That means collecting some stones. So be careful with this difference, okay? You gather something and you gather somewhere. All right, here you go. A combination. Well, it was actually the easiest one, I think. Combination means, join together some things, and combine is a verb, and mixture can be a synonym of combination. Well, basically, African folk music and dance rhythms were combined. So jazz music had a combination of them. Good. Next one, training. In this question, I try to make you aware of the fact that they're different. Training might mean, for sports people, that might mean the training session that they do every day. So they skipped the training yesterday. They should be more careful with their fitness. So this is probably for sports people, because they have to keep their, fitness. They have to keep fit. And high school students need to have formal training in order to be successful abroad. Well, formal training, however, it stands for the education in a subject or skill that you receive in a school rather than practical experience. All right? So you receive it in a school, just like here. People with no formal training in Western music. That is kind of education in that skill. All right, so let's move on to influence. Well, that is something you see every time in your texts, most probably. Aisha has always been influenced by the world-famous artist Van Gogh. That means she was inspired by. So Van Gogh influenced her. So Van Gogh had an effect on how Aisha behaves, how Aisha thinks, and how she develops herself. So basically, Van Gogh affected her somehow. All right, so influence as a noun. So that means Van Gogh had an influence on somebody, on the development of modern, or something, on the development of modern painting. So that means the process of producing effects on the actions, behavior, or opinions of others. You can change your opinions on that if somebody influences you and if somebody has an influence on you. All right. So we that's what I have for this. I have different people from different backgrounds, from different cultures, and you can see that background stands for someone's origin, education, and maybe experiential background in relation to their status. Okay, so people from different backgrounds, from different cultures, from different education systems, for example. An immigrant, a person who came to a different country to live and work, maybe permanently. So immigrate is a verb and immigration is the noun version of this. So don't forget that in the text, in paragraph 3, it talks about some European immigrants coming to America. These people came there to work, and maybe they brought their music with them as well, with their instruments. Okay, so number 11. Apart from, be careful, it's not expect for, it's accept. So different from. Except means, as you know, including, excluding something or somebody. Different from the musical beginnings in Africa, European influence and instruments changed the way jazz was being played. Different from, except for, okay? And evolve, just like here. Don't forget that ragtime, the musical style called ragtime, evolved from jazz. So it changed and developed into a different music. So derive or evolution as well is a noun version of it. And it means to change and develop. And basically emphasize, just like it means highlight, to highlight something, just like the highlighters you have in your pencil cases, yes, accentuate and stress are the synonyms of it. And this new music actually stated that, formal composition is very important. So say that something is important to make it, more emphasized, put emphasis on it. All right, number 14. Jazz was slowly spread all over the country, all over America. So it means to expand, to spread, and just like COVID-19, starting from China, and it spread rapidly throughout the world. So it means to grow, to expand from somewhere. And attitude, young Americans, as you say, they were, they started to rebel. They started to fight against the old-fashioned attitudes of their parents, as you know. And, attitude means the way you're behaving, okay? That means the way you're behaving, your behaviors, your manners, all right? The way that you behave. And yes, appreciate, you can see the different forms, synonyms of appreciate. Please make sure you also check them in your dictionaries. Here is another vocabulary practice for you guys. You're going to fill in the blanks with the words given. Some of the words are verbs and some of the words are nouns, so please make sure that you use the correct form. Verbs can depend on the tense you're going to use, past, present, and training, for example, is a noun, so it can be in plural form, so please be careful. All right, please pause the video now. Here are the answers, guys. In some cases, as you see, you might need to use the infinitive form. However, in some cases, you just need to use the gerund form, just like here, good at doing something, like influencing. And bacteria are evolving, present continuous, as you see. Illegal immigrants as a plural form. So please be careful with that, as I told you before. And for your questions, I can also you can just write them down in the comment section. And thanks for watching. Good luck, everybody. Oh, hello again. As you remember, we covered some vocabulary items related to the reading text, number 3 of unit number 6. And for this video, I wanted to focus on the reading text, the paragraphs, and of course the questions related to that text. Okay, please turn to pages 131 till 133 to the text called Where Did Jazz Originate? In our first exercise will be exercise 3A. So we're going to look through the text and match the dates with the information. Here are the dates from 1 to 6, and here are the information, the pieces of information given from A to F. As you know, we're not supposed to read the whole text. We're going to make use of the strategy called scanning. So before you start reading, make sure you underline the dates so that you're going to look at the dates and you're going to know what you're looking for, in the text. Okay, are you ready to see the paragraphs together? Okay, here are the 6 paragraphs of reading text number 3. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5, and number 6. Okay, so now pause the video, guys, and do exercise 3A. Very good. Here are the answers. Let's look at them together. Don't worry if you got them incorrect, because we're going to check them together now. Okay, as we saw in the text, we have the early jazz music in the 1800s. And in paragraph 3, you see that in 1850s, we see the European influence, some impact of European cultures, including the French, Spanish, Irish, and German musical traditions. So apart from the musical beginnings in Africa, European influence and instruments like clarinet and saxophone changed the way jazz was being played. Very good. And in early 1890s, we see the blues. It was marked by the blues. And in 1890s, we have a musical style called ragtime, evolved from jazz. In 1900s, here comes the fuller jazz, a new jazz style. Okay, some elements were created. Some elements actually created a new style. All right, and we know that the first jazz recording was made in 1917. Easiest part. Okay. Exercise 3B. For this activity, we know that we are going to find and underline the word groups in the text. Okay? And basically, we are going to need to see the word groups that have the same meaning. Let me explain to you. Why are we asking you to do this? As you know, paraphrasing is really important in our METU NCC's English proficiency exam. So finding these word groups in the text will basically make you aware of the fact that you're able to find the paraphrased or, rewritten parts of texts, parts of writing. Okay, so let's do the first two together. The number one was blow a few notes on a sax and start swaying to the music. You know that movement, that swaying, so your body starts swaying to the music. That is actually meaning you start dancing. You start just dancing, And playing the saxophone, basically it is the same, blowing a few notes on a sax. Okay, and your body starts swaying to the music. That means your body starts dancing and you start dancing, basically. Your body means you. Huh? Okay, so now pause the video and do exercise 3B yourselves. Try it out. Alright, here are the answers for exercise 3B. As I told you, learning the synonyms or words that have a closer meaning to other words is really important, because in order to give the same message, sometimes we might want you to give the same message with different words. That is to say, you're supposed to rewrite those sentences. And in your performance task, you need paraphrasing. In your writing, you sometimes need paraphrasing. So it is really important, crucial that you learn this type of strategy. And here you are. In the text, we see that after a day's exhausting labor, that means after working hard all day. So all day, exhausting labor, working hard, it means tiring, huh? So it is the same. And to overcome their sorrow, to overcome means to forget their unhappiness. To overcome means to recover from that sorrow, from that unhappy situation. All right? And in this part as well, early jazz music was a soulful and heartbreaking composition. That is to say, early jazz, it was a style that used to express emotions, both being, heartbreaking situations and a soulful situation, a composition basically. All right, so in paragraph 3 you could find the answers to this. Many different forms of musical notes from various cultures float across the new continent. New continent? America. Huh? So different kinds of music became known across America. It became known. It flowed. You could see it in America. And a country in which different cultures exist together. So melting pot of cultures in the text, as you see, that is to say that we have various cultures, different cultures existing all together. And America was one of it, the country, the land. And in paragraph 4, you see that the new music was energetic and lively. So it was dynamic, vigorous, stirring, and passionate. And people were crazy about it, means that people liked it very much. People were great fan of it. All right. All right then. Young Americans who had lost hope, young Americans who had been disheartened. Disheartened could be expressed this way as well. Who had lost hope, meaning hopeless. Jazz records sold a lot. So jazz records were the hottest sellers. That means they were sold out. Huh? They were selling very well in the market. And they were listening to the radio stations. Basically, you know that movement, tuning. You know the you're changing the channel, the radio stations. Tuning means to listening to or just turning up the volume and changing it to that station. In exercise 3C, however, it wants us to read the text and choose the statements which are possible inferences. So let's do the first one together, guys. So the writer of the text is a jazz fan. Is that right? How do we know that? How can you get that inference? How do you understand it from the text? You see, that's jazz for you. Tapping to the rhythm. Yeah, this sound. So tapping to the rhythm, and your fingers snap and do a step, and you just step up, step forward, step backward. So he is actually his description of how jazz makes him feel makes it that the writer puts it that the writer of the text is a jazz fan. Alright, so now please pause the video and do exercise 3C. Look at them. What can you get from the text? Okay, music is a means of communication. Yeah. In most places, slaves could not speak. They were not allowed to speak to each other while working. So, singing became a way of communication, a means of communication. Huh? Yes, you could understand it from paragraph 2. And paragraph number 2 also gives us the black musicians things. Black musicians were slaves. They worked hard and had little or no formal training in Western music. So they didn't have the chance to obtain formal musical education. Look at the last sentence. Yeah. So it is possible to infer that they had neither the time nor the chance for any kind of education. People express their feelings through music. Yeah, African slaves expressed their unhappiness and homesickness through music. We can understand that. In order to forget about their sorrow, forget about their unhappiness, they just got together and sang songs. People have been attracted to alternatives outside the classical tradition. Well, throughout the text we can see that the formal Western training and classical tradition, the classic tradition, jazz is an alternative to it in music, and it has proved a successful example. So it was a combination anyway. Jazz was a combination of Western training. And yeah, in paragraph number 6 we have the bands playing on boats on the Mississippi River, and they were also tuning into radio stations playing Louis Armstrong and Bessie Smith. We can actually find them in paragraph 6. That was the easiest part. So they had entertainment for the passengers in the riverboats, and Louis Armstrong and Bessie Smith were two well-known jazz performers at the time. And thanks for watching. Good luck everybody. I hope everything will be better in the future. Have a great day. Thank you.